This, my friends, could very well be considered the boss among PC cooling fans. Let me introduce you the Silent Wings Pro 4 by Be Quiet. Today we're looking at the 120mm version. They may appear good, but fairly ordinary at first glance, but these fans do in fact come with additional physical features. Among those, most importantly, a switch that allows us to switch between 3 different RPM settings, ranging from 1600 all the way up to 3000 RPM. In other words, this makes the Silent Wings Pro 4 one of the most versatile fans on the market, not only for high-end radiator use, but also for simply installing them as case fans. Basically, perfect for anyone and fully customizable. So it should be clear that this all comes at a price, and that one at $32-33 a piece is not exactly low. Quality usually tends to have its price after all. The manufacturer is taking things very seriously though, backing their product up with a 5-year warranty. So today we'll not only be looking at the performance at those different RPM settings, but also noise levels. Additionally, I'll also compare them against the regular Silent Wings 4 I've just recently reviewed. As far as what comes included, looking majestic, considering this is a fan. Besides the fan itself, there also are screws and push pins, as well as 2 kinds of mountings for the fan's corners. Out of the box, pre-installed are those so-called radiator corners, which are ideal for use on radiators. If you plan on using these fans as case fans, you'd probably use the so-called anti-vibration corners that you mount into the case with those push pins. The solution in between is the 3rd type of mounting corner. All in all, these corners are quickly replaced. I also find it great that both fan mounting corners as well as the fan's ring are equipped with rubber padding, not only for the front but back as well. This really helps a lot with minimizing vibration noise. The overall build quality is on an immensely high level, something I already said about the regular Silent Wings 4. Here we just happen to see even more features. As far as the aesthetics are concerned, today's Silent Wings Pro 4, of course, are among my new favorites now. RGB lighting is not always a necessity to impress design-wise. At the end of the day, clearly a matter of preference. I'd like to leave a compliment for the fancy, sleeved 4-pin PWM cable they've used here, even coming with an awesome plug. You don't see that every day. Heavily advertised by Be Quiet is the high airflow and static pressure. On paper at least, that sure does look impressive, I gotta admit. At the heart of it, a fluid dynamic bearing, and the max fan speed is at a whopping and definitely very audible 3000 RPM. What makes this thing so interesting though is the fact that these Silent Wings Pro 4 come with a 3-step switch on the back. These steps set their respective max fan speeds. We are free to choose between 1600, 2500 and 3000 RPM. One reason for the good numbers on paper is the drastically reduced distance between the fan blades and the frame. Test setup. Once more, the AMD RYZEN 9 5950X 16-core comes into play on the ASROCK X570 PG VELOCITA motherboard. All fans tested here have been attached to the Be Quiet Pure Loop 360mm AIO liquid cooler. So we are always looking at 3 fans tested at all times. Noise levels. Needless to say, I've run separate tests with all 3 RPM settings for you. On the number 1 spot, the quietest ones, we see the Silent Wings Pro 4 at their lowest 1600 RPM setting, 42 decibels, a great result. Now once we flip this switch to 2500 RPM, we are already talking of 54 decibels, which considering the high fan speed isn't even that loud, but definitely loud enough. The noisiest ones are today's fans at their 3000 RPM setting, that's 59 decibels, and does kinda sound like a small jet taking off. Temperatures at max fan speed. In the Cinebench R23 test, these Silent Wings Pro 4 at 3000 RPM, not really surprising, conquered the chart, even beat their very own Lightwings high-speed version by 1 degree Celsius. Restricted to the 1600 RPM setting, the regular and Pro variants deliver the exact same result down to the degree, which kinda makes sense since both spin at 1600 RPM at max and are closely related. the golden mean probably being the 2500 RPM setting. Now once we crank up the heat by firing up the Prime 95 stress test even further, today's high-end fans really go to show what they're made of compared to the competition. Of course, the 3000 RPM setting sits at the top, not far behind being the 2500 setting. In the middle ground, we see these fans at their standard lowest setting of 1600 RPM. Temperatures at a fixed 40 decibels. Now here in the Cinebench R23 test run, these Silent Wings Pro 4 at their 3 different fan speed settings perform almost equally as well, which makes sense. We are, after all, lowering the fan speed accordingly until we reach the same exact 40 decibels. Surprisingly, the 1600 RPM setting drops behind by 1 degree, while the settings 2500 and 3000 RPM share the number 1 spot. With the switch set to 1600 RPM, these Silent Wings Pro 4 do exactly as well as the regular Silent Wings 4. Now let's repeat the same test at increased load in Prime 95. Here we are in fact seeing the same ratio. Taking the lead in this chart is today's fan at its 2500 and 3000 setting. When inspecting all these results, it once more becomes obvious that the choice of fans does actually have a bit of an impact of a few degrees Celsius depending on the cooling solution. And we don't necessarily have to have the fans running at their max speed in order to witness such behavior. Conclusion: undoubtedly, the Silent Wings Pro 4 perform extraordinarily well. It should be pretty obvious that these high-end fans at a price of $30 to $33 isn't exactly targeted towards each and every one of you out there. I'd only recommend enthusiasts to pick up the Pro version of the Silent Wings 4 series, enthusiasts basically that wish to be ready for whatever use case you could possibly throw at the fan. And you need to be willing to spend give or take $30 per fan. Everyone else should just stick with the regular Silent Wings 4 or maybe with alternative options by competitors. Nonetheless, Be Quiet has truly unleashed a beast of a fan that shouldn't be underestimated. With that being said, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you'll be back here for my next video.